It was a cold, rainy night when Mia finished her shift at the diner. She was exhausted, eager to get home to her small apartment on the outskirts of town. The streets were quiet, the kind of quiet that made you hyper aware of every sound, the faint rustle of leaves, the distant hum of a car engine. Mia pulled her jacket tighter around her and walked to her car parked under a flickering street light. The rain had turned into a light drizzle, creating a mist that hung low over the ground. She slid into the driver's seat, turned on the ignition, and set off down the deserted highway. As she drove, the soft hum of her car's heater was her only company. She turned on the radio, hoping for some music to keep her awake, but all she got was static. With a sigh, she switched it off. About 10 minutes into the drive, Mia noticed something in her rearview mirror, a figure sitting in the back seat. Her heart skipped a beat, and she instinctively slammed on the brakes. The car skidded to a halt, and Mia spun around, only to find the back seat empty. She let out a shaky laugh, convincing herself it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. The long hours at the diner and the eerie weather must have been getting to her. But as she resumed driving, a strange chill filled the car. No matter how high she turned up the heater, it felt as though the temperature was dropping. The windows fogged up, and faint words seemed to appear in the condensation on the passenger side window. "Help me." Mia froze. Her grip tightened on the steering wheel as her eyes darted between the road and the window. "Who's there?" she whispered, her voice trembling. There was no response. She decided to pull over. As her car came to a stop on the shoulder of the empty road, she turned on the interior light and inspected the back seat. Still, there was nothing there. Just as she was about to sit back down, a low, raspy voice came from behind her. "You shouldn't have stopped." Mia's blood ran cold. She spun around, but the back seat was still empty. Panic surged through her, and she started driving again, faster this time. The voice came again, this time louder and more insistent. "Keep driving. Don't look back." Mia's breath quickened. She didn't dare disobey. She kept her eyes fixed on the road ahead, though every fiber of her being screamed to turn around. As she drove, the mist outside grew thicker, obscuring everything beyond the headlights. The voice spoke again, softer now. "You're almost there." "Almost where?" Mia demanded, tears streaming down her face. But there was no answer. Suddenly, the mist parted, revealing an old, dilapidated bridge ahead. Mia had driven this road countless times, but had never seen this bridge before. Her car seemed to move on its own, the steering wheel pulling her toward the structure. As she crossed the bridge, the voice spoke one final time. "Thank you." The temperature in the car returned to normal, and the eerie feeling dissipated. When Mia reached the other side of the bridge, she pulled over, trembling, and looked back. The bridge was gone. She sat in her car for what felt like hours, trying to process what had just happened. The next day, Mia told her co-workers about the experience, hoping for an explanation. One of the older waitresses, Helen, paled as Mia described the events. "That bridge," Helen said, "was washed away in a flood over 30 years ago. A car went over with a young woman inside. They say her spirit still haunts the area, looking for someone to help her cross." Mia's hands shook as she realized the truth. She had been the silent passenger's guide, helping her find peace at last. From that night on, Mia never took that road again. But every now and then, she swore she could feel a chill in the air, as though the silent passenger had returned to say thank you. Thank you for listening to this spine-chilling tale. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that blur the line between reality and the unknown.